Part of the reason why DC's Absolute line of comics has been so successful is because they speak to their audience. Absolute Batman is about the rage we feel towards political corruption. Absolute Superman is about the exploitation of both our fellow man and the environment. And Absolute Green Arrow is about getting revenge on the wealthy elites who prey on society's most vulnerable. And I think part of the reason why Absolute Flash took a little while to start vibing with me was because its message was veiled, at least initially. This was the story of a lonely teenager, Wally West, who was given fantastic powers that he struggled to control. And what this story is about is social isolation, anxiety, and the relationship between parents and their children. He had spent so much of his life moving from town to town for his father's job in the military, and after his mother died, he felt increasingly isolated. Eventually, they settled at Fort Fox, the location of the secretive Project Olympus, headed by Barry Allen and Dr. Eleanor Thorne. But when Wally stumbled into one of the experiments and got his powers, it wasn't some joyous awakening for him. Instead, it felt more like a curse. His perception of time changed, allowing him to see future events, including a potential future where he becomes a monster. Freaked out by this, Wally went on the run, accidentally dragging Barry to his death. While this all seemed to be a random act of chance, secretly Eleanor Thorne had orchestrated events. They were trying to access the Still Point, another dimension consisting of pure energy that her grandfather, Eobard Thorne, had discovered and disappeared into decades ago. Wally's father, Colonel Rudy West, didn't care about any of that though. All he wanted was to bring his son home safe and sound, and so he used the resources available to him as the head of security. He sent the Rogues, a unit of disgraced former soldiers armed with powerful tech, and the psychic monkey Grodd to get Wally back. But when Grodd made contact with Wally, he realized that the pair were kindred spirits. They had both lost their mothers, and their fathers were caught up in Project Olympus, so Grodd decided to help Wally evade capture. However, the Rogues had no intention of capturing Wally. Instead, they wanted him to join them on a raid of Fort Fox. Dr. Thorne had turned on Colonel West, and they wanted to rescue him. When Barry and the Rogues breached the facility, the door to the Still Point opened, and out came Eobard Thorne in his new monstrous form. He was too powerful for Wally to face alone, and even with the Rogues' help, they struggled, until Colonel West charged at Thorne, forcing him back into the Still Point. But he too was trapped there, and Wally would do anything he could to save his father. Grodd, meanwhile, was able to save his own father from Fort Fox's labs, and the two went on their way. The Rogues also vanished, heading to Captain Cold's secluded farm to lie low. Wally's first port of call was the Mirror Master, who promised to help rescue Colonel West if Wally helped him first, and the only person he could think of was Dr. Eleanor Thorne, but she had vanished too. So he asked Wally to track down the remaining co-founders of Star Labs, Ray Palmer and Silas Stone. Wally headed to their last known location and began his search. While their facility was abandoned, he found some detailed notes from Ray Palmer outlining that the Still Point is not what they thought it was. It's not some endless supply of energy that could be exploited. It's actually a pit with something horrible lurking at the bottom of it. Palmer had tried to stop Barry Allen and Eleanor Thorne from trying to access the Still Point, but he had very clearly failed. If you've enjoyed the breakdown so far, do me a quick favour, take a quick second to hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and it makes sure you won't miss any of our upcoming breakdowns. Now, back to the story. Meanwhile, the Rogues' peace was disrupted by a drone sent by Colonel Rick Flag, who offered them amnesty in exchange for completing one final mission. They had to kill Grodd. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but even the thought of anyone giving Grodd so much as a sideways glance fills me with anger. He is a precious boy who must be protected at all costs. However, the government doesn't seem to have got the memo, as they send armed forces after Grodd, who's hiding out in Colorado. Upon seeing the armed men, Grodd fled and went to his father, who had a less than charitable response to their intrusion. At the time, Grodd had been doing what he does best, befriending strays as he cuddled a rat. So seeing the soldiers' dedication to murdering him doesn't exactly endear us to them. And when Grodd tells his father that there are bad men out there, he disposes of them. At this point in time, I don't think they've revealed what his father's name is. Grodd just calls him Papa. But I sincerely hope that his name is Mojo, because he looks just like Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls, and that would be a great reference. But in true Absolute fashion, Papa doesn't exactly kill the soldiers. He uses his psychic powers to take control of them and turn them into mindless drones. This is completely in keeping with the rest of the Absolute universe. See also Mr. Freeze's Ice Zombies and Poison Ivy's plant drones in Absolute Batman, because this is a universe created by Darkseid. Darkseid's biggest aspiration is to control the universe. He seeks out the anti-life equation, which would remove free will from the universe and bring what he perceives as order and stability. It's also worth mentioning that in Absolute Martian Manhunter, the Martian notes that the universe is absolutely drenched in anti-life. But this huge psychic attack in Grodd's presence triggers a response in Wally because he's still linked to Grodd. While he was still hip-deep in investigating Star Labs, Grodd's safety comes first, so he turns to Linda for help. Fortunately, she isn't one to hold a grudge after he left her behind in Iron Heights, especially when he tells her the stakes. After calling Linda to check her location, he zips over to her, picks her up and heads back to Colorado, where they last saw Grodd. It's a true testament to Linda's character that she agrees to help Barry, despite how much he had upset her by leaving her behind, because she too is on Team Grodd. It also helps that on the brief journey, Wally fills her in on his discoveries. Once they arrive at their destination, it doesn't take long for them to figure out where Grodd is. They happen to notice a military helicopter flying overhead, and Linda checks the local news and sees a report of a siege at an abandoned building. And just a quick note before moving on, during their conversation, Wally tells Linda that Grodd is not a monkey, he's an ape. So you mean to tell me that Captain Cold got it wrong and Captain Boomerang correctly identified him as an ape? This truly is an upside-down universe, and noted for future videos. Back in Colorado, there's an eerie quiet. You'd think that with all those police officers and soldiers on the scene, that there'd be at least some noise, but there's nothing. In order to break the tension, Linda suggests that Wally calls himself the Flash to build his own personal brand, not as a means of selling out, but just so that she can call him something other than Wally. So there we go, 16 issues in, and he now has been christened. Before too long, Wally and Linda find out what happened to the police and the soldiers. They're under Papa's control, who makes them attack Wally and Linda. While the regular officers are easy enough to avoid, the heavily armed soldiers are a bit harder, and one of them manages to clip Wally's leg, which prevents him from running. They mutter in unison, "All men bad. All men Grodd," which basically outlines Papa's core belief that all men are wicked, and that is why he has to control them. His belief is rooted in pain. He had been a test subject at Project Olympus, cut open and experimented on, given these psychic powers that he never asked for, and in his experience he has never seen anything but coldness or hate from human beings. He has a pretty typical response to his own feelings of powerlessness. He brings everything under his control and he plans to murder Wally and Linda, no questions asked. Fortunately, Grodd appears and shields them from the bullets. He too has a similar life experience to his father, but he knows that you can't tar everyone with the same brush. His life experiences have shown him that there are people that are kind and good, people like Wally. And when Wally says that Linda is his friend, Grodd immediately says that that makes her his friend too. And that's another key difference between Papa, who I'm starting to think is also called Grodd too, boo, and Grodd in how they respond to trauma. Papa wants to hide away in seclusion and punish humanity. Grodd craves company and friendship. And when the soldiers disturb their peace, that pushed Papa over the edge. He declares that there should be no more men, that they should all become Grodd. His intention is to take control of everyone and prevent them from doing anything he perceives to be bad again. But he will also prevent them from doing good things like forming friendships, having aspirations, and helping each other for no reason other than they think it's the right thing to do. I may understand why Papa acts the way he does, but his actions are completely inexcusable. At least that's how I felt until I saw the last page, with the trickster holding a knife to Grodd's throat, saying there was no other alternative. They've gotta kill Grodd. Well, now she's on my shit list. Special thanks to my channel members, the Back Issue Brigade, because they help to make all of these videos possible. As well as getting their names on screen over here, they also get to vote on an exclusive monthly members-only video. I've just released one on Paul Dini's Dark Knight, a true Batman story, and there is one about the long Halloween coming, I swear, and they are currently voting on July's members-only video. The candidates this month are Batman Annual 14, the story that redefined Two-Face for the first time, a breakdown of The Dark Knight Returns, my favourite Batman series, Gotham Central, and the series that immortalised Lobo, Lobo's Back. If you would like to see one of those videos and have your say in which one I actually make, then join the channel now. When I return next week, I'll be talking about Absolute Wonder Woman number 21, Absolute Superman number 20, and Absolute Martian Manhunter number 12, the finale of the series. Hope to see you then.